There are a lot of English words. I think, let's see. I think the last time that I looked, there's over like 250,000 words in English. And they have recently discovered that there's about 6,000 signs. So if you could imagine one sign possibly meaning 7 or 8 different things just by how the person is signing the word. The easiest examples of those are like with colors, because we have red, maroon, cherry, magenta, orange. We have yellow orange, red orange, orange, you know, sun. Blood orange, sun orange. The way that the deaf do it is, if you really wanted to know the exact piece of information, then it's up to you to ask the person, like, what color? Like, what do you mean, red what? Then the person would be like, oh, okay, so I know that it's red. You want to know the exact kind of red. Okay. A lot of it is facial expressions. They say that English isn't really the words. It's your body language and your tone. Facial expressions. You can do a lot with your face, just the same way that you can do a lot with your voice. So if I wanted to be very buoyant and boisterous and loud, you just raise that tone inside. If I want it to be really quiet, I can just whisper and it can be really quiet. Sign language has the same kind of thing. Blue. Boy, is that a blue. It's a light blue. It's a light blue. There's a long history, and there's a lot of argument between hearing and deaf. It kind of is like the whole slavery concept, where what happened a long time ago still kind of affects people today. We get it here in our own hemp world, where, oh, you're smoking pot, you're just a doper. So, oh, you're sign, you know sign, you're just stupid. Oh, you're black, you're a gangster. So the first thing is breaking that down. They're all just people. They just communicate different. There are things in sign language that are very easy to understand why that sign is that sign. Drink. Did you know you could pretty much go to any country in the whole world, and if you went like this, the other person in that country would 99% know that you were thirsty and needed something to drink. Then there are the signs that don't make any sense whatsoever. Falling in love. Well, English is like that too. English has words that make sense, and English has words that we got from, what, 25 other languages on the planet? It wasn't until 1960 that sign language was even a language. They just thought it was, oh, it's just home sign. It doesn't really count. They just know what they're talking about. Nobody else does. Because it was just a language between the two. Or that three. Or your family. If you were isolated, and you were lucky to have a family that could teach you, you would come up with your own home signs. Well, then you go to school, and your home signs don't quite match what mainstream school says. So then you have to adjust that part. Sign language is not spoken. It is not written. You cannot write it. The papers that I gave you, these pictures that are up here, they're pictures, but it's not really written. You can't write it in a sentence. Because it uses your body, it uses space and facial. The other part is that because it's a 3D language, when you look at these pictures, in fact, we were discussing this earlier, is this orange Can you tell what that picture's showing? Orange. Big difference, isn't it? Just that little bit of movement from here to totally different meanings. The way that they put it on the paper doesn't always show the easiest way of how to do that sign, which is why you should learn in person or a video, if you can learn from a video, because the paper is a little bit deceiving. The first page that you guys have is all the finger spelling. So, worst case scenario, you meet someone, they're deaf, you have no idea what to do. Well, what would you do in another country? Hi! Hi! So go ahead, try. Hi! Hi! Hi, Chad! How are you over there? Not very easy, like just what you would think. If you can finger spell, then after that, everything is easy. Because a deaf person will take the time to watch you finger spell every little word because they have someone to converse with. In, I don't know, 1960, I want to say 1968-ish, they came up with the Rochester method. Now, the Rochester method is literally finger spelling every single word. Well, they clocked a human being. Now, I'm not talking about the auctioneers. Okay, we're not even going to go to the auctioneer part, but we tracked that a human can speak about 200 words in a minute. I can't finger spell 200 words in a minute. I can't do that. I could finger spell the whole sentence if you said the sentence and then let me catch up. So that's an interesting way. It's a very slow communication process. However, it's still communication and they will still appreciate even just knowing the alphabet. So, do you guys want to go through and I'll show you in a 3D world what these pictures are actually trying to show you? Because these are alphabets, it's pretty standard to be just that one picture. So, we have A, which is just a fist. B, okay, now A, doesn't kind of A look like an A? Kind of? I mean, if you were writing just a lowercase a, couldn't you kind of see it? B, kind of looks like a B. Oh my goodness, C, look at that. Looks just like a C. D, pretty much just the same. E, your thumb goes underneath the fingers. Good. F is a little tricky. I don't know why this is F. Probably because there's only so many hand shapes and maybe this looks like the F part. G. I don't know why either. Maybe because it's a, I don't know. But H. Good job, you guys. I. Easy. Looks like an I. Here's the part of the picture that you may not be able to translate. This one might be easier, but J. Just that light little movement from I to J. K. Now K and P are very tricky because it looks like you're doing an OK, but your fingers are down, your middle finger is out forward, your index finger is straight up, and your thumb goes kind of between the two. K. Now tip your hand down. That's P. So just by a movement of the hand, K, P. So, K, L. Looks like an L, pretty easy for that one. M, looks like an M. Make sure that your finger comes out of the ring finger so that you are not using the pinky, so that you are just using the 3. Yes, 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 yes. Because M and N are very, very similar. It's just a width of N, M, N, M. Again, it kind of looks like an N. O, O, looks like an O. Pretty easy. P, remember that K we did? We just tipped it. Q. Q. So it to me, I don't know why this is Q. I don't know why it's Q. Oh, because like a curly Q?
A cursive Q.
A cursive Q. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They don't teach cursive, so.
I don't know, because a lot of it is, things have changed, because what happens is, when they create a sign, over time things change, just like language changes. So some of it could be, it just hurts. I mean, it really could seriously be that if you had to do Q, I don't know, you're Spanish and you have lots of Q's in your names or something, to do Q and to try to pull it, you can feel different parts of your body changing. So Q, that feels pretty okay.
And quicker.
And it's quicker, absolutely.
Ice Cube owns the rights.
R. I don't know. R again, it's just another one of those. S, a lot like E, but not. S, the thumb goes over the fingers. Good. Over, there you go. T, nice, 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 nice. U, pretty easy to see. Fingers together, because when you put them apart, V. UV. Now, here's W. This is where you hearing people are going to get into such trouble with W's and threes. W, 3. W, 3. We, as hearing people, would go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can't go 1, 2, 3 because it's 1, 2, W. So another little difference. X. I don't know. Because your finger's all crooked and it's all, I don't know, X. Y. Or that hang loose, you know. Which is kind of an interesting thing that it's in sign, but it's also Hawaiian sign too. And Z. Another one of the movements. So if you can follow that part on those papers, those are pretty easy. The little bring your hand down and the Z. Now numbers. I think on the next page or the page after, there's one that just has numbers, I believe. I didn't put them in any order. I was just trying to get them together. There you go. Yeah. Now I found that this sheet is a little different than how I learned them. By the way that I have seen these pictures so many times and what I can interpret as what the movements are for each sign, they're a little different than what I learned. And again, you have English that covers all of America, but you have an accent in the South, and you got our Northwest accent and our words like Issaquah, Puyallup, and then you have a whole different accent in the Northeast. Well, sign language has accents. And the accents are the little differences that you from Southern California sign this sign, but I sign it this way. Still the same sign. Still means the same thing. Still recognize it. Just a little different. Like, what is that? Kind of like when you're listening to someone, for me, it's the Southern accent that's really hard to hear sometimes. What are you saying? What are you saying? So the numbers on here is a little different, but it's still 1, pretty easy. 2, pretty easy. Again, here we go to that 3. 3, 3, 3, 3. We as hearing people, we were taught 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, how would you like to do that all the time on both hands? No. So, I think they got smart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You try to use one hand as much as possible, mostly your dominant hand. So instead of having to go 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. See, another word. Exactly, exactly. So when you took a sign and you go from here, 20, and you put the same sign, but you put it in a different location, it changes the whole meaning of exactly what you're saying. So that's a huge part also, is you really have to pay attention to where and how your hands are moving, because you don't want to be talking to someone and say, oh yeah, let's go have coffee, and you sign make out instead of coffee. Coffee, make out, coffee. Want to go have coffee? Wait, no, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. After 20, it's kind of a same kind of process. You have your 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So it just kind of does the same as what English does, where you still have your 2s somehow in there and you have your second number. I think counting from 1 to 10 is pretty good. Do you guys want to try going from 1 to 20? I mean, it's your time. No? Okay, well, I'll do it then. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 with the thumb out. There you go. Yeah. So 14, thumb in, 15, thumb out. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. God, you guys are, we should just, okay, class is over. You guys used all 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so then next part would be colors. Colors. Again, we have 100,000 different ways and different colors. I think deaf people are a lot smarter because we have all the basics. Red. Just like makeup, like you're putting on lipstick. Red. Not just one, but red. Orange. Now, because orange is something that you also eat, they decided, oh, orange, like how you smush an orange and it's all juicy. Yellow. You just take the Y and shake it. It's the easiest thing ever. Yellow. Blue. Same. With the B for the blue. Green. G for the green. Purple. Remember that KP thing that we did earlier? Purple is purple. Pink. So the pink and the red have to do with like lipstick colors or lip colors. The ones that don't have lip colors are the ones that are down. So purple versus pink. Okay. Black. I don't know why. White. Gray. Yep. Sign language, people think you're quiet. Sign language is a noisy language. You're deaf, so you don't hear it. But yeah, gray. Brown, like skin color. Silver, remember how you did the S? like silver hair. Silver. Gold is kind of like an airplane shape or the I love you shape, and it's gold, like gold color hair. So it's just shaking it like you're brushing your hair. All the other colors that matter, you'd either finger spell them or you just be like, okay, it's red. I don't need to know that it's maroon, it's red. It's yellow. The sky is blue. I don't really care what color blue. You want to really, okay, I'll finger spell it. You know, it's marine, yellow, blue. They do a lot of light and dark. So the color yellow, if it's really light, it would be a light yellow. So it's kind of like you're taking your, whatever the color is, green, blue, purple, and you're just adding just a little light, just a little like, just do. Dark is the way you're moving it with your face. Dark blue, just really dark blue, right? Dark. Do you guys have any questions at this point? Are you confident in, like, could you do the alphabet by yourself? No? Could you? Could you? You probably could. You're a cheater, that's not fair. No. Could you? You think you could do the alphabet or the numbers? You wanna try? You're not on film. No? Okay. Do you guys want to go through it again just to get more comfortable? Because again, that's going to be your biggest thing to interact with deaf at this point. Even if you do have to finger spell. Hi, that's a good one. Hi, hi. H-I, hi.
This is a nightmare for a dyslexic person because
I thought this very same thing. I really did. And being dyslexic myself,
yeah.
I thought, how am I gonna do this? But you know what? A B and a D never got reversed in my mind under sign language, because it's not this way or this way. They are two separate, B, D. I also thought the same thing, but a lot of the dyslexia, depending on the kind that you have, can be adjusted in sign language to actually be beneficial, because I noticed that the more I learned, the more I could connect it to my own studying, and I actually used it to help myself. So if you're talking about 4 different things, we're going to say something that I can remember really easy. Let's say a bird, a mouse, a dog, and a cat. Okay, now we're talking about something else. The nice thing is, we go back to that conversation. This is still the bird. This is still the mouse. This is still the cat, and this is still the dog. It's still the same. When you set things up in space, because it is a 3D language, that's always going to be right there, right there, right there, during the whole conversation. So for me, it was actually helpful because I could use parts of the sign language as study guides or study to help memorize and make things actually stick in my head. And because there's so many less words. We talked about the Rochester method, which is finger spelling everything. And then we have signed exact English, which is literally every English word has a sign. So I'm going to the store becomes I am going to the store. In ASL, it's really easy. I go store. You know what I'm talking about. You know that I'm going to go to the store. You don't need to put in all those extra words. When you're learning to read, you need those extra words, because those extra words in English are not in the same order. and we don't have them in sign language. So they had to create something to match it. So they created the sign language exact signing English. You talk to people in ASL? No, that's awful. Don't use that. Ugh. But it does have a narrow use of learning to read English. Because if you don't have something to connect a word to, it has no meaning. So for reading, I understand why they put in those little words. Going to, I am not I am not a signed English specialist. That's the extent of my signing English right there, was that one sentence. Because I don't want to know how to do all that. I fell in love with ASL because it was such a beautiful 3D language and it was simple. Why add all those words? Why make things more complicated when I could just say, or it's yellow, or it's blue. So we have the Rochester method, we have signed exact English, and then we have ASL. ASL doesn't follow English word order. ASL is more like Spanish word order. It's another thing I never understood. Why do we in English say the yellow car across the street? So your mind goes, the yellow, what's yellow? Yellow, 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 and it searches for everything it can think of as yellow. Car, okay, so now you have the picture of your car that's yellow in your mind. Across the street, car, yellow over there. Now you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know I'm talking about a car first. So you have your subject, you know a car. Oh, now it's yellow. And it's over there. English, I think, is one of the very few languages that have the word order that we do. The yellow car is over there. When you start listening to English, start thinking about how, when you hear English, the blue something, your mind will start thinking of everything that it knows that's blue. Even though you're not realizing it in that split second, your mind thinks of all the blue things it can think of until the person says, couch, car, phone. Oh, okay, now I know what is that color. Whereas in English, we just kind of go along with it. A little known fact, I think we talked about this earlier, but that's okay. At Gallaudet University, it's one of the only deaf college in all of America is Gallaudet. And they have a football team. And their football team, way back when, they were playing. And they noticed that the other team saw what they were going to play. So they actually created the huddle so that the other team wouldn't see what they were signing for their next play. Somehow that got adapted into what we now see on NFL football games as they huddle. I thought that was an interesting fact. Baseball. The 1, 2, 3 out. Some of the symbols, even though these don't mean anything from the catcher to the pitcher, as far as like, they're not really, it isn't its own language, it's just something from the pitcher to the catcher for them to know. It's still after sign language. Pitch this. No, pitch this. I don't know, I never played baseball, you guys, so help me out here, but no, left curve, no, really fast, no, I don't know, whatever, throw the ball already. Let's get beer after work. No, I'm just kidding. there's a lot of things that people don't realize where we learn things and where we take things as part of our own culture. So I think that that's important to know some of those things that we get from other people. So we went through the alphabet, went through the numbers, we've gone through colors. Would you guys like to learn some of the basic actions? Like, we could do nice to meet you is a huge thing in deaf culture. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Being able to finger spell your name is huge. My name. And then what is your name? Obviously you're not my name, so Chad. C-H-A-D.
Which is H again?
Huh?
Which is H again?
H. M-I-K-K-I. There's something that's a little that I haven't gone over though. M-I-K-K. When you have two letters that are the same in a word, you have to move it over just a little. So you do all of your hand gestures in the same area. So your hand doesn't go A, B, C, D, E, F, because you'd be, okay, and now I'm all over here. Sorry. So your hand stays A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. But when you have something that has two, so like with Mickey, M-I-K-K, just a little movement over allows the person to know, oh, there's two Ks. Otherwise it would be M-I-K-I, which is, what?
My name.
Oh, with not two Ks. Okay, well I put two Ks because it was a perfect example, so.
That's fine.
Thank you for letting me do that for you. Hers is actually just M-I-K-I. But, let's see, for mine, Donnell, D-A-W-N-E-L-L. So it's just a little bit of a movement over, but it's not all the way out in left field. Hi, how are you? Now, if you don't put the facial part, without putting the facial part in there, it doesn't really make a lot of sense what I'm saying to you. If you know that this is how you what? How you walk? How you sign? No, how are you? With the question. Fine. That would be a good react. I'm okay. I'm good. Good. It's also thank you. Good, thank you. Aloha. Aloha is hello, goodbye. Hang loose. It's like, hey, see you later, hey buddy, what's up? All that. So other languages have it too, just because it's just a little bit of a different nuance. How are you? I'm fine. How many different emotions do you think you saw? How many different ways could I have said fine? Any guess? 100? Just the way that we would say, fine, 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 fine. I am fine.
You got a sign for just fine.
Just fine.
Just like that.
It's all, it's all in face. It really is. How are you? How are you? happy. Happy. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm just a little sad. I'm so sad my grandma died. I'm so sad. Again, sad or really sad. Happy. Again, I'm kind of happy. Big difference between, oh, I'm just a little bit happy and I'm really happy. What else would you be? Happy, sad, fine, well, you're all right. Kind of okay.
Sick.
Sick. How sick are you? Oh, tell me. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Let's see. Let's work on some of the actions. Always good to know where the bathroom is. Go back to that T that we learned in the alphabet and just kind of shake your wrist a little bit. Bathroom. Where? Where's the bathroom? Oh, it's that way. It's that way. It's over there, around the corner, and back around. Now you can kind of see where one sign, and how many words did I put? Around the corner, back around, in the back. Signs have motions too. If I'm going to, and I'm going to the store that's over there, then I would be, I'm going to the store over there. If I'm going to a store that happens to be over there, well, then I'm going to go to the store. So back to that pointing. Pointing is a good thing in sign language because if nothing else, you can point and go, and they'll know that you're trying to do something. You're trying to figure out what is that, or, oh, and the person will feed you the sign. That's really nice when they do that. Pointing in the way that you would go. So, if you're talking about a chair that's right there, that chair there is blue. That chair right there is going to be blue for the rest of this conversation. Because now I'm going to establish that there's a red chair over there. So, now you all know here is the blue one and there is the red one. They're still set in space and they will stay there. Unless we all move around and I say, okay, we're gonna move the chairs. Now we're gonna move the chair, blue chair from here, remember, because that's where it was, right here, to over here. Now that chair's over here. Where was the red chair? Back over there. Where's the blue chair now? Over here. Where was the blue chair? Over here, in relationship to where the red chair is. That is also very helpful as far as being dyslexic. Left, right, you don't have to think left, right. You just think, where's this chair? Where's that silly chair? Well, it's right there. Oh wait, no, we moved it, it's over here now. So, from any point of view, if I'm over here, that blue chair that was there is now right here. But the red chair is still over there. If I went all the way over here, sorry, cameraman.
Okay.
And I say, okay, now where's the blue chair? It's still over there, but now I'm pointing that way. And the red chair is still over there, but now I'm pointing like that. Where the blue chair was right here. So as far as learning disabilities, dyslexia, the locations of those don't move. where they are, unless, like I showed you, unless we actually move the chair, then it is now in its new location. So if you're dyslexic, where's the red chair? Everybody point to where the red chair is. So from each of our perception, the red chair is still in the same spot. But I don't have to be dyslexic because it's still right there. It's right there. My brain doesn't have to flip it or unflip it or have even an issue with it because it's not left and right. It's there, there, and there. Drink. Again, we kind of talked about this a little bit. If you go to any other country and you are dying of thirst and you go up to somebody that doesn't know nothing and the person is going to figure out that you are thirsty and either want a cup, want something to drink, and then they go on from there. But the first part is, what is it? You're trying to get something to drink or a cup. Eating, same kind of thing. Fingers all together, like you're putting food in your mouth, like you're eating popcorn. Here's one of the ones that we were talking about, how signs change before we started. How signs change and how doing certain signs can actually strain your muscles, and so they adapt over time. The sign for home, when it was first developed, was, well, what's home? Home is the place that you eat and sleep. So you eat and sleep. Eat and sleep. That's your home. Well, if you keep doing this, and you're talking about home a lot, not only are you stretching out your neck, you're having to move your other hand, and that's taking time. And that uses energy. So slowly over time, it's changed to home. So you're still eating and you're still sleeping, but again, they started like this, sleep. Oh, well now you're slapping your face. That's not very comfortable. Why would I want to do that? Eat, sleep, eat, sleep. Home. Phone. Everybody knows phone. Oh, and then we came out with flip phones. Flip phones. Flip phones. Then we came out with the Sidekick. Now we have the smartphones. So just like in any other language, as long as it's a living language, it changes and develops as time goes by. Those were two really good examples of back then versus now. I was trying to think of some of the other signs that I could think of that have changed where it's because of what it does to the body as you're signing. If you grow up, it's just like with anything else. If you do something a lot and you practice, then those muscles are so used to it. Now you're a runner. If you run and you go out and run, you can run for a long time because you've used those muscles over and over and over and over again. If I went and tried to go out and run, I don't think I'd get very far. Definitely probably hurt myself. So it's the same kind of thing in sign language, where if you grow up in the language, it's not that hard. If you're learning it as a second language, you start to realize that holding up your hands like this to sign starts to feel weighted down. So as an interpreter, we normally have two people so that you can go back and forth, because holding your hands up, doing your sign, whatever you're doing, after a while, you can start feeling it in places you never realized you had. Just like if you started running tomorrow. Oh, my back of my calf, oh, my foot. You'd still have those kind of aches and pains. Let's see. So if you see a deaf person, the culturally acceptable thing is, just like in English, if two people are having a conversation and you can overhear it, you can overhear it. So it's their fault for having it in public. Same thing with sign language. Now, it used to be that not so many people knew sign, so you could do sign in public and nobody knew. So you could talk about all sorts of shit in public, not have anybody know, but now more people are learning it. So if you're out in the real world and you want to talk about some stuff, remember that there's eyes everywhere. What else do you guys want to know? Eat, drink, sleep, bathroom. How about who? Who's that? Who's that? Who is that person? Who? What? What? But you have to look puzzled. Like, what are you talking about? What? Because if you just go, that's just chatting. We're just chatting. Now I'm saying, what? Just a little bit of a movement from, oh yeah, we're chatting. What are we chatting about? Oh, that's an interesting one. Where? Where is that? Where's the bathroom? Where's the book? Where? Oh, it's right there. It's around the corner. It's over there on the shelf. Pointing. Big in deaf culture. Pointing. Point, point, point. Let's see. Who, what, where, when? When? Like from now till later, when? And why? Why? I don't know why. Why? It's like the yellow sign, but you're kind of waving it. Why? Why not? Here's another one. Why? Why not? 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 So instead of more movements, why not? Why not? Slowly became why not? Less movement, way easier. Pretty smart, huh? Why not? I mean, if you over exaggerate, you can start to feel how different why not to. Oh, yeah, way different. Who, what, where, when, why not? Okay, so we've gone through the alphabet. Oh, there's a good one. Yes. Yes. So it's the S from the sign language alphabet and just a little nod. No. No used to be N-O. You used to spell it out. N-O, N-O, N-O. And guess what? No. Because isn't that easier than doing N-O? N-O? No.
Oh, you folded them.
Mm-hmm. So it used to be, you used to spell N-O. That would be your no. But that got, like, again, it's awfully using a lot of energy for that. So I should just go like this, no. Because that's a lot easier on my hand. It's a lot easier on my fingers. It means I don't have to go N-O all the time. No. Yes. No. Maybe. Maybe. Again, with the, let's pretend your mom is asking you if you want a glass of pop. No. You're telling your daughter that she can't have any candy. No, Mom. I don't want any. No! I said do! Just in a facial movement, a smile or a frown, or your eyebrows, or just your eyes can change the meaning of what that no gets translated as. It's still no, but saying, if I was interpreting, I'd be like, no, Mom, I really don't want any coffee. Thank you. I said no candy! Do we do it with our voice? No, Mom, I don't want any coffee. How about some food? You guys want to learn some food? No? Well, just for you, we'll learn orange. Remember orange? Orange. There you go.
Same thing.
It's the same sign.
Just as
So-
cheap as English.
But how do you know if I'm saying orange the food or orange the color? That's where it gets tricky because it depends on the rest of the sentence. What are we talking about in general? Are we having a conversation about colors of houses? Then we're probably talking about orange the color. If we're having a talk about all the kinds of foods that one person can't eat, then we're probably talking about the orange that you eat. So a lot of it is, again, paying attention to what's the conversation about, who are you talking to, and what kind of tone are you using? Because those three things we have in our voice, deaf has on their face and their body. The more aggressive usually is the more louder, the more intense, the more quieter is usually lighter, more mellow. Just like with our volume, we go from really quiet to really, really, really loud. I'm not gonna be really loud. I can be really loud. I won't do that. Milk. Milk. Why? Moo. I love your impression, Chad. Exactly. Why did we come up? I don't know, but there it is. Milk. Water. And water is, again, look, it's not 3, it's W. Because you're gonna drink the water.
Poison.
Poison? Poison. It's meant to be the skull and crossbones. The skull and crossbones, the bones. Can you kind of see it? Mm-hmm. Poison. But it's with, huh? Bacon! Bacon! Eggs? Yeah, poison. Poison, bacon, and eggs. Eggs,
Pretty much.
because it makes sense. Eggs, because you crack open an egg. You crack it open, so egg. Bacon?
Bacon because of how it is after use.
Exactly. That's exactly what, because it's usually about that long, as opposed to that. It's about that thick normally. And when you fry it, it goes up and down like that. I always thought strawberry was a very weird sign. Strawberry. Strawberry. Red. Bear.
What's an L?
The only thing I can think of is maybe because you would pick the strawberries.
How do they say raspberry?
That's a good one. I think that one you have to finger spell
Or you point.
or you point to it.
Blueberry. Or any other berry.
What's berry?
Berry. What is berry? Grapes. Grapes.
So they have a word
Watermelon.
specifically for strawberry, but it's like one of the 2 berries that they have a word for.
I think I'm just blanking on what the other berry. I mean, because I was trying to remember that, and like melon, because you thump a melon, right? Watermelon, because it really is the 2 words put together. I mean, that makes sense, right? Water, melon. But if you're just talking about a melon, then it would be, oh, I'm gonna go buy a melon. Oh, okay, whatever. Or, well, what kind of melon? Oh, honeydew.
You have to spell that.
Cantaloupe. I am not the best speller.
I'd be like,
Nobody on this planet
I'd be tell me
is
family has some
a
shorthand
wonderful
shit.
speller. And there have been several times in situations where I've been working with the deaf person and I'm interpreting and they fingerspell something and I just go, what? What is that? Okay, hold on. Interpreter just needs to back up a second and clarify. Can you fingerspell that again? Like slower? You know, and they're fingerspelling it and I'm like, I don't know what that word is. Okay, again, I'm sorry. Please fingerspell that again. And they fingerspell it and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to feel like I'm stupid. They spell it wrong.
Hence the dyslexia part.
Well, but if they spell it wrong and you're trying to think of the right spelling, it can awfully be, oh, you meant, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, back into the interpreting and get caught back up. So fingerspelling, when you ask a deaf person, they don't actually go letter by letter. They go by the hand shape of the entire word. So I have to do left-handed because I don't know if I can do it. When you look for a word, remember, if you're deaf and you've grown up this whole way, you get very used to what words are being fingerspelled. Names. Always names. The first time. Then, after that, you can get a sign name. Sign names are given by deaf to deaf or hearing people. Kind of like in the Native American culture, where the elder would pass on the name to the younger. My sign name is Donnell, D for the Dawn. And because I'm always smiling and happy, I got the funny little smile part. My daughter, which some of you know and some of you have heard stories about, is, well, she's always been very set-minded, determined, not stubborn. No, not stubborn. Headstrong. So, because of her name, it's still the same D for her name, Destiny, but it's here because this is attitude. So you can see how the sign names kind of go along with the personality of the person in some capacity. Me, my daughter. Totally fits us to a T. Happy, yeah, hey, how are you guys doing? Woo, loud, obnoxious me. And attitude from my daughter. Yeah, her. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So will she be called different names by different people, or that the same sign that she goes by from most people?
That is her name sign. So when she goes and she meets deaf people for the first time, my name is Destiny, D-E-S-T-I-N-Y, Destiny. My name is Donnell, Donnell. Then that's it. Like, after that, it's just Destiny and Donnell.
No, but who picks? Does the person pick their own name, or who's like responsible for picking, or is there some official thing that like?
Normally, what happens is that as you're learning sign, you'll meet a deaf person that will kind of help mentor you, or just maybe be a little more interested in you than some other people. And as you start to hang out and you intermingle with these people, the person that you hang out with the most is usually the one that will give it to you. My teacher actually gave me the sign name, but my friend who had been watching my kid grow up gave her sign name.
Okay, so it's not like a mother passes it on to child thing.
No, it's not mom to child, or like the chief down. No, it's one real deaf person, profoundly deaf. Not hard of hearing, not speak, not that, huh? From that community, yes.
Magnus was a kid at the playgroup.
Yeah, another kid did it. See,
And Madeline.
Madeline, nice.
And his mom was deaf, so he knew. He was like 5, so.
That's the same kind of thing where the mother's deaf, the child is hearing, But, oh, deaf too?
Deaf.
Both of them are profoundly deaf.
But
So,
he knew she didn't have one. And he just went,
like, there you
he
go.
didn't want to spell out Madeline because it's so long. He's like,
No, and that's why you get side names. And so the more that you're in that community, you'll be like, you'll see someone talking and you'll see your sign name. And you'll be like, oh, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Again, though, there's a lot of sign names that can be the same because there's only so many signs. Remember how many signs I said there were? Roughly? 5,000 to 6,000? 5,000 to 6,000. That's it. That's like all the school districts in Olympia, only their senior classes. That's how many signs. That's how many. But 200,000 words? That's half of America. So you got this incredible amount of words that you have to fit together to these little tiny signs, which is why it's very, very hard to interpret, because you're ecstatic and you're ecstatic and you're ecstatic are so different. Or what if you're ecstatic but you're calm about it? What if you're sad, you're sad and you're sad, but who's the saddest? Well, who's showing the most emotion about being sad? You just have your head down. I'm sad. You have tears starting to come out of your eyes. And you're over here bawling. But you're all sad. And that's how they do the different degrees. So you're still sad, you're still happy, but all of the rest of it is shown on your face. You're a little sad. You're sad and you're crying. You're really sad because you're just crying a lot. What else do you guys want to know?
Yeah.
Do you want to practice? Because that was the other thing that we do in class, is that we would get together and we would, hi, how are you? I'm fine. Nice to meet you. My name. Okay, hat, because it's on your head. Shirt, because it's right here. Pants, because they're your pants.
So what do you do?
Pants.
Pack your shoes?
Nope. Again, what's easy, glasses, what's easy to sign just with emotion versus what you'd have to actually shoes. I don't know, because you knock them together. Socks. Now, here's a funny one. Socks go in your shoes. Okay? But socks that go to the sky are stars, not socks. Rocket. Stars. Socks. People walking on one foot. Socks. People walking, two separate people walking down the aisle. One person walking this way, one person walking this way. Socks. Stars. Rocket. Same hand shape, same kind of movement, but because it's in a different space with different facial expressions, it means something totally different. Gloves, because you put them on. Socks, shoes. Again, shoes, if you wanted shoes, well, what kind? Again,
Yes.
you just need to know that I have shoes on. That's it, okay? If you really want to know shoes with a heel, then you would actually start to describe it. Or running shoe. Running shoe. just a walking shoe. You know, shoe for just walking. So there's another one. Walk, run.
Expression for project. Project.
A project. You take your PE project and go over like a file.
PC.
PC.
Because
PC. But it stands for
depends. Positive change is what ours. Project
positive change. PC. Let's see. Politically correct would be technically. That's that other thing. Politically correct would be politically correct, but it's really the appropriate word use. So it really isn't politically correct. It's just PC. But what it means is it really means using the words in a certain way. Another way English and sign language don't match. We have all of these wonderful English phrases. It's raining cats and dogs. Okay. I heard that the first time and I went, raining cats and dogs? How am I going to sign? That doesn't mean that it's raining cats and dogs are falling out of the sky. No! Don't sign that. That's not what it means. What does it mean? Quick, fast, think. It's pouring. It's just kind of raining. Oh, it's just barely raining. Snow, white rain. White rain. There's no word for snow. White rain. It's a combination of two other signs. White rain. Snow.
Why is this white?
Why is this white? Why is this black?
Why is the sky blue?
Why is the sky blue? Why are we here? Oh yeah, we're here because we're learning. Sign of the times. Yep. Let's see. I thought of some other stuff too. Was time. Time. What time? Late. This is the English sign, I know. Late. Late.
Oh, that's the L kind of.
This is the exact English kind of part. Late versus I'm just late. Or later. Late, later. And it's all kind of like, again, am I running late or am I just late? It depends on what's before and after the rest of that and my facial expression of how late am I. Banana. Here's a really, like, why is orange orange? I don't know. Why is banana? Banana. Because you're peeling a banana, but not to be confused with condom.
That's what they
Because we're adults, so I can do that. See, I got fired for. No, I'm just kidding. Don't just edit that out, please. I got fired for saying the word condom. Look, I'm doing it again. Good thing you guys can't fire me now. Anyway, banana, condom. Just that slight little difference could just. But if you get a deaf person to laugh because you're signing, that's probably a pretty good thing. Let's see, grapes. Oh, tomato, because it's red and you cut it. Onion, because it makes you cry.
How do you say aunt and uncle?
Aunt. All of the female is down here. All male is up here. Boy, girl, uncle, aunt, brother, because it translates as boy, baby, girl, baby. So son, daughter. Niece and nephew. Niece, nephew. Cousins. Now cousin is cousin. If you're just talking about your cousin in general, and it doesn't really matter because you're not being specific, like you need to know that they're female or male, it's just cousin. If you're saying, you know, my female cousin, my male cousin, then there's a difference. Let's see, aunt, oh, mom, because it's down below. Dad, because it's above. Grandma. Mom, next generation. Mom, next generation. Dad, next generation. Grandpa. Great, great, great grandpa. See, I mean, you can't, like, Dad. Old. Nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews, brother, sister, son, daughter.
What's that?
Friend. Kind of my friend. Really good friends. Enemy. Not your friend, enemy. It's also argument, discussion, hurts. And this is a good one. I like that you brought that up, because hurts, what hurts? This is the smartest thing I think that my stomach hurts. How easy is that? What do you think? What do you think that means? Your shoulder's hurting. Yeah. Shark. Shark.
That's what we did in scuba diving.
Shark. That's.
That's useful.
You know, I don't think I've ever signed the sign shark. I'm sitting there thinking.
We would give one.
Cheese. I was trying to think, because you have the child. So cheese. Crackers. I don't know why. Again, you know, some of it makes sense. You press the cheese. Some cheese you press. Or, you know, smush together and get out the extra. Crackers, I don't know. More. Funny story.
Not to be confused with ball.
Yeah, ball, more, kiss. Mwah, more kissing. Again, more, because that's just kiss. Now, you're hearing, so you could hear that. But if you were deaf, you wouldn't hear you would see. So you would know, kiss, more. Now, I have a funny story. I started learning sign language when my daughter was born. And because I started sign language at the same time, I started teaching her. 4 months old. 4 months. That's not sitting. That's not standing or walking. That's not even talking yet. 4 months, just after they start to be able to hold their head up, my daughter signed to me. And at first I thought, what are you doing? What is that? More? Food? Drink? Please, sorry? That was all the same. Please or sorry. Well, I don't know what it is, but you're either saying please or you're saying you're sorry. Please. Because your hand is open. Sorry. Because you're holding your heart and apologizing. I'm sorry. It was very interesting watching my daughter go from milk was kind of like this, and I'd be like, are you trying to grab something? Yeah. Oh, milk. Okay, I got it now. Just like hearing children have accents, I swear only their parents know. Now, I don't know if you guys have your own. I know you have your own kid. I know that. I know the rest of you have at least access to kids. So when the mom and the child are talking, and the child's going, and the mom goes, yes, it's over there in the knapsack, or the backpack over there, and you're like, and then thinking back to when your own child or someone that you really know and you can actually understand them says, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, I know exactly what that was. It's the same kind of thing with sign language. When you get used to them doing this, you know, to them that means more. As they get older and they start to get use of their muscles and they can actually make their hands do what they want them to, it does become more.
Can you talk about adaptive sign? People that are, when you're talking to people and you've noticed that when you're learning sign, that they might do that, where they'll, you know, oh, they're signing Kirk, but they might miss a hand because they're continuing the conversation. That was hard for me at first, was picking up, especially when they'd start spelling names. So do you just follow like the trace of how the word should be? So like if somebody was spelling Kim, they might not go to an I, they might just go...
You look for the K and the M. Because what they'll do is they'll do Kim.
So
and
look
it's...
for the first and the last.
But you also, if you look at the hand shape, K, I, M. So if you're seeing...
Right.
Can I borrow you for just a minute, please? Just your hand.
Da, da, da.
Da 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 da.
Everybody was gonna be a hand model.
I know. So K. Good. That's okay. K. See, K. I, M.
Yep.
Do you see how this has a shape to it? That's how you get to good at reading people's finger spelling. Is you look for this whole.
Okay.
So
That's where finger spelling and the correct spelling. Thank you very much, because I was like,
It can get very hard, 'cause if they
it
spell
can get very
wrong-
hard, and they spell it wrong, and you're like, what, KM? What's KM? Oh, KIM, or what if it was KAM, or KUM? So yeah, if they don't spell it right. The other thing is that I've noticed, for me, if I can't catch something, and I'm talking to I'm signing with a deaf person, and I can't catch it, or I don't understand, stop, wait, again. Just hold on. Doesn't mean, it's not a rude stop. It's a hold on. Just wait, hold on. Again, because I missed it. Miss. I missed it like it went by. Boom. I tried to grab it. I couldn't get it. They will finger spell it. Do you know what that is? Okay. Do you understand that one? Do you understand that one? Okay. Without the verbal part, but with the facial, like, do you know what that is? That's a K, right? Okay. I. You got that? That's an I? M? Okay. Some, I had one teacher who signed everything backwards. So it was M-I-K. And I was like, that's Kim, that's not Mick. What? Took me oh, you're gonna bring your spell backwards. That's the dyslexia, where you're like, wait a minute, don't do that, because M-I-K, what? You're not thinking that the person's doing backwards, but that was his little fun trick on finger spelling.
I'm good with ALS. I'm not good with having to spell out every single word, because then, yeah, I mean, I'll mess up even on the computer and not even know. So trying to translate it into all the letters, I would find somebody else.
I had to do the Rochester method once, and I was so frazzled and so frustrated, and I felt like I was gonna cry, because 200 words a minute, and each word on average is at least 4 letters long. I mean, even if you, on average. So you're trying to do 800 individual letters. I don't know that I could do 800 individual letters in 1 minute, let alone do it enough for the actual person to actually see what I was.
Is there a high rate of surgery for
Carpal tunnel? Yep. Interpreters are big on carpal tunnel. Tendonitis, yep, anything to do with the wrists. We were actually taught that before and after we go and interpret or learn, do your own hand stretches. So some of that, going back, doing this, stretch, 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 shake them.
Medicated cream.
So do they welcome and are they?
Oh yeah, there you go, medicated cream. Sorry.
Do they welcome and are they here and here more like further along because of everyone having a smartphone up and an iPhone? Where you can just take it out and put the message on the phone if they can't make it out.
Well, yeah, technology has increased the access hugely. Absolutely, absolutely.
Interpreters too. Like Maddie has a deaf speech teacher, and he doesn't have an interpreter because I can read lips and know enough sign because I know the alphabet. It just makes sense. A lot of letters are in words. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But he will type a word for weird things like Everett School District.
Well, because you would have, seriously, you would have to do Everett School District.
Yeah.
But still, to do that every time,
No.
I would do Everett School District. Seattle, Olympia. I mean, Olympia because it's the government, Olympia.
I know even with texting, it like takes us too long, so we shorten words and do that. So
Yeah, laugh out loud.
The same thing.
Poison.
Do deaf people shorten things? Well, I don't think that they shorten it. I think that there is definitely a formal and comfortable, lazy little kids. You go to elementary school, I want to stop them and go, excuse you, what are you signing? What is this? Oh, you wanted to go to the bathroom. Okay, this is not the bathroom. This is the bathroom. Then you get into the high schoolers. Because I don't want everyone to know. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So they're like, well, okay, you don't sign bathroom down here. That's not where the sign goes. The sign is here. But they're teenagers. A lot of the senior citizens, their signing is really hard for me to see it. A lot of it is because at a certain age, your hands start to shape, they thin, they cramp, and when you are trying to do signs and your hand doesn't make the shape, it's a little hard to follow sometimes. I noticed that you have one dominant hand that does a lot of the signs. You have signs that add that second hand to actually help create that sign. But if you're holding your child, maybe this is what you were talking about. If you're holding your child and you want some help, you can't do help me, help him, because you're holding the kid. So it's, well, this doesn't mean anything. This is just me going back and forth. But if I went like this, I'd have to drop the child. There is a certain understanding among deaf people when they're holding something and they're doing one hand signs, it's almost like they just see the other hand. It's like listening to someone speak and they mispronounce a word, but you know what they're talking about? Or they say the wrong word, but you know what they're speaking about. You know that they meant this. You hear, if someone was speaking, you hear all of it except for one part, but you can put it in. You can make a good assumption as to, with all of these words, not catching this, but catching this, you can kind of put together the picture. I notice a lot of teenagers only sign one-handed. So the help, waiting, so that can be kind of hard. I don't know if that's kind of what you're referring to.
That, and I mean, I know like Maddie has low mobility, so like she does that one-handed signing, which makes sense. I didn't even realize that.
Does she have use of both?
Yes,
but
like even
limited.
high is really hard, so we taught her to hold her face up so she doesn't have to do this, because this would be way too hard. But this, she's still waving hello. So she's up. She's not down here for mom. She's on the side for hello.
Yes, you see a lot of that in,
But you can tell when you're talking to someone, and like you said, when you talk to the same people, you learn their personality of how
Exactly.
they sign.
which is another thing that makes it so hard to interpret, because
Yeah,
unless
'cause
I
people
work
look
with
at
you
her and they're
for a
like-
very long time, and I know what I can say and get away with, and what I can't say and not get away with, when you walk into somewhere cold, and this person is here, and you're like, okay, I don't know what kind of education this person's had. I don't know how they want to be presented. Do they want it formal? Do they want it more casual? So you have a lot of added stresses that go into just interpreting. I loved it. I loved it. I miss it. I can sign. I can interpret. I can see it. But my brain doesn't connect the English words fast enough to keep up. So what I mean by that is I can see go to store. So my brain goes go to store. If the deaf person was here and could hear that, they would be like, you're making me sound stupid. It's, I'm going to the store, you idiot. But my brain has a hard time with adding all of those English words back in, because I want to make it simple and sweet and to the point. Go to store.
Can you, you just kind of didn't formally start, so can you tell us who you are specifically and your background and things so for recording?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I guess we should have done that an hour and a half ago, but you know, hey, that's okay. My name's Donnell, and I've been an interpreter for the North Thurston School District. I took ASL 1 through 6 at South Puget Sound Community College when they actually offered that program. Then I transferred. I had to interview. I had to go through the interview process, get accepted to Seattle Central Community College. Got accepted, went through a 2-year program to become an interpreter. Passed that. Went and worked for the school district. That's where I really found out that I can see it, I have no problem, but spitting it out, making it connect and flow like a nice sentence is not my strong point. So, I continued my education and I used my sign language to actually help myself with my own learning disabilities. I got my AA in Deaf Studies in 2006, and I currently just got a job as a substitute paraeducator working for the school district, in which I'm hoping that I can use some of the sign with some of the disabled to kind of help bring them up and forward in education. I currently do not do any interpreting formally. I am not certified. The certification process for interpreters in Washington State is quite a process. It's a 2-step. First test is written. It's all about history and people, the who, the what, the why, the where, the when. The fact that deaf people were killed. They were locked away in prisons. They were ostracized to islands. They were looked down upon as part of the worst people ever. To learning about the whole process of, oh my gosh, they have a language! Look, it's a language! What do you mean it's a language? Look, it has all of the classifications of a language. Nuh-uh. Yeah, let's look. Look. It has phonemes and morphemes and space and past and present and future and It can explain everything, and it changes as the world changes. So yes, it's a living language. That test is about $200. When I was doing the school, everyone in our class raised enough money for all of us to take the written test. I passed. I have 5 years from that time to go out into the world and get experience and take the performance test. The performance has 5 different parts. One is English to sign, sign to English, situational. What would you do if you were in this situation? Which I will tell you the answer to any of those questions are it depends. It depends, because you don't know all of the information, so you really can't decide. But code of ethics, confidentiality, what is said here stays here. I do not tell him about your IEP. I do not tell you about his IEP. I do not tell her what your disabilities are. I do not say anything about anything. However, I am obligated. If you tell me that you're going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt him, I have to tell. That's pretty much a state thing. Anybody that's in any of those medical fields. Or if somebody's hurting you. If you tell me someone's hurting you, then I have to tell. But there are ways around that, just like with physicians. I can tell a lot of information without giving names and situations. So interpreters would get together and kind of give feedback, or like, hey, I was with this person and they were signing this. How would you have handled it? That doesn't tell anybody who it was, where it was, or anything. It just says, I'm having that, what's your feedback? So what's the last one? The last one is sign to English, English to sign, code of ethics, situational, and it's an interview process where it's a panel and they just ask you questions. And it's $570 for that test. Well, so I graduated, got my degree. I went out into the world. And I found that I had learned a lot more about values and culture. Who am I to teach an elementary kid their first language? Who am I to do that? It's not even my first language. But I am now responsible for teaching this kid their own language. When you graduate, you don't know all the signs that are out there. There's still signs I don't know. If I had to go in front of a medical situation, I would panic. Medical words don't have signs. Court is another one that has a separate certification because you use different words. There really is no sign for defendant or plaintiff. It's the person that led or the defendant, person defending. But there's all those legal words that I don't know.
Nobody does.
I found that it was hard for me to put the English into the sign and make it sound appropriate, and it was not right, I felt, for me to interpret for these kids that don't even have a grasp on their own language because they come from hearing families. I also found that some of my values conflicted. Mainstream school, it's really a great idea. No, it isn't. If you took one person from one group and you put them in another group that was totally different from them, you could just imagine how human beings are. And I watched kids be mean. I mean, I thought kids were mean when I was a kid. Kids are mean. As an interpreter at school, you are not allowed to punish, discipline, say, interrupt. You're there just to interpret. That's all you get to do. You outstep that. So I found it very, very frustrating when I couldn't go, stop teasing her. I felt really shitty when I couldn't go, it's okay. Don't worry about them. They're just not happy with themselves. You're fine. You're good. You're smart. You will be fine. When I couldn't do that, when I was trying to teach them their first language, so I kind of left it and I didn't do it anymore. But I found myself signing with one hand, driving to Seattle, listening to the music on the radio. I found myself hearing things and going, how would I sign that? It's raining cats and dogs. I wouldn't sign it as raining cats and dogs. I would sign it as... I found myself wondering, gosh, you know, this equal access, it's not equal. If I was deaf and I wanted to go get food stamps, I would have to call the TTY or the video relay, which is new. Here's a new sign, video relay. Never existed. Never had video relay. Now we have video relay. Oh, I lost where I was going with that.
Equal access.
Thank you. I have to get on the video relay. They have to contact DSHS. They have to have an appointment. Then it goes back to the video relay. Do I have that day available? No. Now we have to pick another day. Goes back and forth. Until, oh, now I have an appointment with that person on this day. Now I need to find an interpreter. Which interpreter? Okay, there are deaf people that like certain interpreters. There are deaf people that will not work with certain interpreters. That's their right. That's their prerogative. They have that right. They have that ability to do that. So now I'm still deaf and I still want food stamps, but I have to wait 2 weeks. Why? Because it's going to take 2 weeks for the people to be available to meet so that I can apply for food stamps. Equal access? No. So I actually did some advocating and some educating. I had met with the governor at the time, Christine Gregoire, and I had said that she should put in her budget at least have 2 interpreters that can at least float through the state buildings. Because if I was deaf and I showed up at DSHS, just like any other hearing person, there should be someone there that can help me. Or call, because they're over at the building across the street and I'm coming back over. I also said that she should have someone that stands with her and signs everything that she says. Well, Washington State doesn't have the budget for... Oh yeah, and clean water and kids, and yeah. So I tried. I went as far as I could with that. And I've just been doing sign as fun because it's a beautiful language. When you see, I took a workshop once, and the guy signed, you know the song Desperado? Desperado. When you see it signed in English, and then you see it signed in ASL, and then you just watch it being signed, it goes from a color crayon drawing of a 4-year-old's flower to the water lilies. It's a traumatic experience to watch just the song all the way to the other side. The Giving Tree, you guys know that book, The Giving Tree, about the boy that goes to the tree, gets the apples, grows up, finally it's just a stump, and he sits down and he goes, yeah, well, you're old and I'm old, and at least I give you a place to sit. When you read that story, you can have a visual in your own mind, but when I watched a deaf performer sign that story out, I was fascinated. I was amazed. The whole story just becomes alive because they become the characters. So he is the great old tree. He is the little boy that comes to pick the apple. That part of sign language was extremely helpful, because if you don't learn by reading, or you can't learn by reading and hearing, but you can learn by watching. So any of that kind of thing that I could add to using for my own studying was helpful.
How many people do you think in Washington State, for instance, have a hearing impairment?
That is a really good question, because just like with black and white and all the shades of gray, we have hard of hearing, profoundly deaf, and all of them in between. The unfortunate part is that just like with other human beings and other groups, you have the people that are born deaf, profoundly deaf, have a certain cultural attitude, than the ones that were born hearing and then became hard of hearing, versus the ones that were born hearing but then got sick at a little age and then became hard of hearing or deaf. It's very segmented in deaf culture. Me as a hearing person with no family that are deaf, pretty much ostracized. Not ostracized like never, never, never come here, never do that, but like you're never gonna be in our little circle. Okay. But those who are profoundly deaf, they're like right in the middle. So it's kind of hard to say. I also know that there is a smaller portion of hard of hearing that learn sign. There's obviously a larger portion that learn sign that are profoundly deaf. There is a huge argument going on in the deaf community that's been going on for years about the cochlear implant. The device, oh yeah, we even had to take audiology. A hearing aid goes in your ear and it amplifies so that the cochlear and the little hairs in the cochlear pick it up. So really, a hearing aid is just damaging those little hairs more and more and more and more and more. But we can't repair those little tiny hairs in that cochlear. So what the cochlear implant does is it goes in there and it connects to the cochlear, which looks like a little shell, and it takes the vibrations that are from the little hairs and translates it into your brain into a sound, thus making you hearing. Why does my daughter need a cochlear implant? She's deaf. She's not stupid. Why are you trying to make my child hearing? There'll be no deaf culture left. I want my child to have the best opportunity in America that he or she can. Give her the implant. What about learning the language of my parents? My parents are deaf, I'm deaf. If I get this cochlear implant, I'm gonna hear. But if I'm already deaf, does the cochlear implant even work? It depends on the damage in the ear as to, and what type of hearing loss exactly. If you're deaf because you have no hairs in the cochlear at all, chances are don't get a cochlear implant because it's not going to help you.
Those are the ones that they're putting implants into the bone with vibration, things like that. And
Mhm.
have to
Yeah.
for some reason.
So,
If you have pre-language, if you have any history or any knowledge of language before you become hard of hearing or fully deaf, you're almost ostracized in the deaf community altogether almost, because you could hear. So you could hear. Not all. It's just like with hearing people. You know, there's good hearing people, there's bad hearing people, there's good deaf people, there's bad deaf people. There's good medical marijuana people and there's bad medical marijuana people. So it kind of,
So you're saying they're still human?
they're still human. And it's a fight. I mean, I've kind of, not that it's a good comparison, but I kind of compare it to the whole abortion. You know, like, don't.
Good comparison though, because deafblind is even worse. We're in neither one. In fact, the blind community accept us more than the deaf community for
Yep.
being deafblind, even though she has moderate to severe hearing loss. So typically, the profoundly deaf and the deaf would surround her, but they kind of are just like, I don't know, you're in a different group
Because of the blind.
because she can't see.
And that's a very,
And then you get the whole, well, why even do it? Because she picked up ASL in 4 weeks. 5 months old, not supposed to learn to communicate. She said, "Oh." That's the biggest one. People are like, what is she doing? Like, that's mom. Or is this mom?
but just the fact that she can do that. And the more you can open up,
At
she
4.
will just be like, she'll be so happy. And that's that thing about a lot of the nicest people on the planet that I've met are deafblind. They are the most compassionate, the most caring, the most sensitive, the most patient. Because if you can talk to them and communicate with them, when all these people haven't even bothered to even try, yeah. There is a difference too with deaf-blind. Sign language isn't as big, so you can't do help, you can't do sign, you can't do sun, you can't do moon because they're too big. So what we were taught in school to become a sign language interpreter was we were brought to go to deaf-blind places and meet deaf-blind people, and it's tactile sign language. So they put their hand on top of your hand, and it's the most incredible thing, because I don't know if I could actually figure this out. And you sign just like you would sign, but you have to make everything smaller, and you have to change things just enough, because you can't be big. You have to be small, and they have to feel what your hand is doing. And for that, there were a lot of what I called heavy-handed people, where they're deafblind, so they're putting their hand on you. Well, but they're resting their hand while you're trying to hold up your hand, and you're still trying to sign, and they're still. So it takes a lot more effort. It takes a lot more patience, and it's a little slower as far as communicating. But there's also a lot of things that can be, like, I think what you were saying maybe is adapted, where,
Well, just like our friend is so little,
yeah,
so we have to be careful. So her hurt is this because her friend is this. Because she would be like, my friend's hurt. Oh my God, what do you mean?
exactly. So between those people, that's what that means. If you take them out into the other world or they meet someone else, then they're going to have to, or you're going to have to explain why is this different than this. But a lot of them are going to know if the person can't move a lot. You know, if and even deaf, they go skiing, they break their arm. Now I got one hand. How the hell am I going to sign? Just the same way I would sign without my hand. You know, it's like you just adapt.
Writing with your left hand.
Yeah. I broke this hand, so now I have to learn to write.
So if people wanted to learn more about sign language or ALS in general, what would they do? And also besides that, how could they participate or interact or get involved more if they wanted to as well?
Right now, I know that South Puget Sound Community College has ASL 1, ASL 2, ASL 3. I know that there is Deaf Coffee at the mall. I want to say it's the first Friday of every month. I want to say it's from like 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. And it's in the food court. There used to be a deaf club here in Olympia. Unfortunately, like a lot of other good things, it just collapsed. So when I was learning, I could go to Deaf Club and they would have Halloween parties. I mean, they would have fundraisers and this and that and the other thing, and you could just go and you could interact, and people there would like, oh, wait, you know, you don't know this sign, or hey, you know, come here, I'll show you, da 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 da. Because that Deaf Club closed, now they're doing it at the mall. It's a lot harder to interact. You can go on the internet and just type in American Sign Language and all of this stuff will come up. Some of the pages that I printed out for you guys were from that. There's a website, if you search ASL, there's a website that will show you the signs. One of the things that I wanted to say or show was that accent that we were talking about earlier. Some of the things that you see on the internet, you can learn, but don't be surprised if you went out into the world, met with a deaf person, signed something, and they went, what? Because what you're learning on the internet or on a video, which there's ASL Signing Naturally 1 and Signing Naturally 2. They're 2 books, comes with videos, goes through the book, shows you the pictures, but it also shows you on the video, because now you guys can kind of see how learning a 3D language on a one-dimensional piece of paper is really a lot harder.
Do you like signing time?
I haven't seen that. I wanted at one point.
I love it.
At one point, I was going to the library and volunteering and signing all the story times.
Signing time does ASL. It's the coolest kids show ever. And we get the DVDs from the library. That's how I learned basic signs. Because they will show you the picture, like here's a cow. And they show you cow, and there are little kids doing signs, an adult, and she has colored tape on her fingers.
So you can tell which finger.
So you can tell which finger she's using. It's called signing.
Because even on a video, it's not 3D. It's still one-dimensional. You're still seeing it. You just get to see a little bit. But some of the signs, I even had trouble when I was learning. I had trouble. I had to go to the teacher and be like, I see it, but I don't understand how that moves. Is it this way or is it like this? Or, I mean.
I'm saying if I go to the CRIP site or the blood site and I interpret it wrong, I'm in trouble.
Right.
No, I'm saying if you go to the blood site and the CRIP site, you're going to end up with some kind of purple gang, and you're going to have some people that'll be like, yeah, wait, what's that? And then you'll have other people go, what? Oh, I know that. So, I would say that South Puget Sound is probably the best around here as far as like a class. I have been asked to teach I have a friend who has had a baby and has wanted me to teach that. I offered to come and do this and said, well, I don't know if there's going to be any interest, but you know, I'll volunteer. I can do that. I can keep people entertained for 2 hours and teach them something at the same time. Yay! Yay! It's not clapping. You never clap. Yay! Celebrate. Yep. Yay! Happy! Yay! I have thought about putting it out there as teaching classes, but I'm not sure as far as like, do I need some kind of business license, or, you know, could I just do it more as for fun like this, kind of, you know. But the internet has a lot, and Friday Deaf Coffee up at the mall